If you were no longer affected by the judgment of others and you stopped judging yourself, would you make different choices? Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here's the host of Inspired Choices radio show, Possibilities Coach, Christine McIver.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Tonight, we've got another show lined up. Would love to hear from you. Connect in and ask some questions. Let's see what we can create together. So tonight, we are talking about seeing you and showing up. This is going to be a show that's going to maybe challenge you. It might be one of those, okay, get ready because there's going to be a little bit of ass kicking going on because I'm in the mood. It's funny, I just did a live both on Facebook and on Twitter and on Instagram, and in both of them I challenged people that Christmas is one day, and let's make December an amazing month of 2018. Let's not throw December away, which a lot of people do, right? They get all caught up in Christmas and they forget about themselves and about their businesses. And I'm here to challenge you to not do that. So before we get into the show, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a holographist coach, and what that means is I really invite you to step into those desires that you have, to really see the hologram of your life, the hologram of your business, and then let's create it together. I've been working now for over 10 years with individuals, both for personal reasons and for business reasons. And I love what I do, and I get amazing results with people. If you are looking to change things in your reality, in your life, if you're looking to turn things up, really make things succinct in your life, go much easier for you to enjoy yourself and not be so affected by the choices of people around you, I would love to hear from you. So we are going to jump into the show. Before we do so, though, I want to know that I've got some specials I'm going to talk to you about a little bit later in the show, my 10-year anniversary specials, and they're definitely available for you, but you want to jump on them soon before all of the slots are taken up. As well, you can connect with me on my personal website, inspirations.ca. Of course, you can listen to all of my shows. In fact, tonight, I believe, and Melissa, my producer, maybe she can confirm this, but tonight is my 200th show here on Inspired Choices Network. So we've got double celebrations happening. You just never know. When I'm celebrating, I get really generous. So you might hear some additional specials happening for you. So what we're going to do tonight is jump in and we're going to talk about seeing you and showing up. So what would happen in your world if you truly saw who you are and who came here to be? Are you willing to see you and show up? Is showing up too much for you, or are you stopping yourself because you're not willing to see the true essence of who you are? That's a lot of questions in there. So, tell me, friends, do you know who you truly are? Or do you oftentimes question who you are and who you are in business, who you are in a relationship? Are you looking for ways that resonate with you? When somebody asks you, you go to an event or you're at some celebration and you meet someone new, and what's the first thing people ask? So what do you do? Are you very succinct and happy at the same time, explaining who you are, giving the person information about you, or do you waver back and forth? Do you question, or are you really saying what you think they want to hear, or what you believe will be acceptable? How many of us seriously out here, in the world, acting with new people, especially in our own businesses, or even going for a new job, how many of us actually saying what the other person would like to hear or what we think will impress? Have you ever done that? Have you ever told somebody something to impress them and hoping that they will like you even more, or they will hire you, or they will want to work with you, or they'll maybe want to date you? right? How many of us are actually showing up to please the other person and we're leaving ourselves in the dust? I know I've done it. I think everybody has done it. I think most actually shy away from really saying truly who we are. What goes on in your world after the fact? If you've ever done this, if you've ever introduced yourself or given somebody your quote unquote elevator speech, and then you've thought about it later, were you really calm with it? Were you happy with that interaction, or did you go into question? Did you kind of get a little knot in your stomach? Was there a part of you that knew, you know what, not actually what we really desire to do. That's not actually what we really desire to show up as in the world. And maybe you're not sure how you want to show up in the world. Maybe you're not actually 100% positive of what you desire to be and do in the world. That's okay. You know, one of the things that you've got to remember is that your desires will never stop. Okay? You will continuously desire again and again and again for more and more things in the world. That includes what you do on a day-to-day basis. Now, that could be volunteer work, that could be money, right? That could be taking care of a family. But our desires will never stop. You know, if you have people around you or you have a program running in your head that says just be satisfied, would you please let that go now? Because you're always going to be desiring more. And if you aren't feeding that desire, you can start to go into judgment of yourself. You can start to a lot of trauma in your life. There's so many people out there that are dissatisfied with their choices, and instead of actually looking at what it is that's going on for them, the real truth of it, they create a lot of distract. And one of the greatest ways to distract yourself is to create drama with someone. I really want you to be honest with yourself and look at the interactions that you've had just in the month. Do you find yourself having a lot of conversation about people that have upset you? Do you find you're having conversations about people that you feel have done you wrong? Are you having conversations about exciting new possibilities, things that you're creating, relationships that you have with your family, with your children? You know, where are your conversations? What have your conversations looked like? When you start to really be straight up with yourself and you look at the conversations you've had most recently, it starts to be, it's like a roadmap to what you're really focusing on. And when you're focusing on and you get very, very clear about that, then you can go into, okay, so is this what I truly desire? Does that make sense? When you are looking at your conversations, when you're looking at the choices you have made, sometimes we don't see it in choices. That's why I'm suggesting looking at the conversations that you're having and where are you focusing. I know when I used to work in an office, it was such a pattern of people talking to each other, and it was kind of like the same old, hey, how you doing? Yeah, I'm all right. You know, the husband's driving me nuts and the kids, blah, 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 blah. And it was commiserating. People love commiserating. And if you get a habit to commiserate with someone, each time you connect with that person, guess what you step back into? The same pattern. So you've got to be willing to really see what you're choosing so that you can create what it is that you desire to see. So, my question is, what is it that you desire for yourself? And here's a really cool thing that I've seen a few times over the last couple of months is, what legacy do you desire to leave? and even wonderful friend and colleague in craziness, and my producer this evening, Melitza Jelinek, she said that one of the things that she has done with some of her clients is inviting them to write out their eulogy. And I just think that is such a cool thing. Now, initially, this may sound a little odd, but if you write out your eulogy, you really get personal with what people are going to learn about you after you're gone. So in essence, what you're doing is you are writing out your legacy, right? You're writing out what people will learn about you. Now, why is this so important? Why am I spending so much time on what you were conversing about and what you've been creating and what you want to show up in the world as, what you want to see? Well, here's the thing. If you have any dissatisfaction anywhere in your life, okay, that is going to be like a leak in a pipe, in a water pipe. That dissatisfaction is going to start to leak out into others of your life. And when this starts to happen and it starts to erode your desires, it starts to eat away at relationships, it starts to really nag at you about your level of dissatisfaction, it sometimes is very difficult to come back from that level of dissatisfaction. It can be extremely difficult to turn the course of our life in a really heavy area of dissatisfaction. Do you know why it's so difficult? Because the heaviness actually pulls on us greater than the excitement of possibilities. And what you're tapping into is you're tapping into energies, okay? You tap into these energies. If you can be in a space of kindness with yourself and acknowledge your desires and just be, wow, look what I've been doing, and just be really curious about the choices that you made without beating yourself up, that's where you can start to shift your energies. But if you stay in it a long time, if you stay in things for a very long time when you're dissatisfied, it gets heavier and heavier and heavier and more difficult to come out of that energy. All right? So it's so critical that if this is something that's popping for you, that you be willing to be vulnerable with yourself and look at the choices you have made. Right? When I work with clients and they start to share some of the choices that they've made, they have a lot of shame that comes up, a lot of upset that comes up, and they have a very difficult time being straight up with me. Leads me to know that they are having a difficult time being straight up with themselves. There's no need to be in shame of any of your choices, my friends. The past literally is gone. All right? Any choice you have ever made has no bearing on the choices you will make in the future. As long as you're willing to get present and acknowledge your choices, that's where you can start to really, really show up. All right? So we're going to go off to our first break of the show tonight. And I would love to hear from you. I'd love to get some questions and see what's resonating and what's not for you. We're in the chat room at inspirechoice.com. You can come join us there, or you can actually call in and ask some questions. In Canada, 613-800-8736. In the U.S., 815-880-8255. When we get back after this first break, we're going to start to lean into really seeing you. All right? Really seeing you. And this surprises me when I work with other people, and of course, when I work with my coaches, it surprises me what they see and what I don't see. So, everyone, you're listening to Christine McIver on the Inspired Choices radio show here on the Inspired Choices Network. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this short commercial break.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning in to Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message? The world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. We are talking about seeing you and showing up, all right? And what I'm really curious about is how much do you actually see you? Here's what goes on for so many of us, including myself. This has gone on a number of times, and I really would love to really listen closely to this. What often goes on in our world, personally, is that we do a lot of criticism. We do a lot of self-doubt. I've seen this with the majority of, at some stage in our lives, we do a lot of self-doubt and we do a lot of criticism. We judge ourselves a great deal. And what we are often looking at is only a very small picture of our lives. Now, what we'll do is we're looking at our past, usually, that when you're in judgment of yourself, you're looking at your past. But most people are only seeing the things that made them sad, that disappointed them, that they decided was wrong or disappointed other people, all right? And that is so not what you're not getting a true picture of who you really are, my friends. And so what you actually end up doing is you end up focusing on those areas and you miss absolutely amazing things in your life. And you miss the amazing abilities of what can be created for you. When we're walking around with this massive judgment of ourselves and we're not truly seeing all of us, right? We cut off opportunities. We run away from relationships. We judge ourselves so deeply that we miss the present moment of the amazing people, the amazing joy around us, because we're so fixated on the past. We need to stop this shit, and we need to truthfully see who we are in totality. In totality. First of all, you are an amazing miracle. I forget the numbers, but in order for you to actually make into body form, I think there's a 1 in 6 million chance that to actually take place. It's a huge number. If that's not the exact number, I'll find out. However, I want you to get this. You are, just for you to be born is a miracle. Here you are. Here you are in a body. Here you are showing up every day. Now, you may not be showing up fully, but you are here. Right? And you have done, if you are, an adult and you are at least 25, 30, let's say 30 years old, you have had how many days in your life have you had? You have had over 10,000 days in your life if you're just 30 years old. And it was more than 10,000 days. You have had how many hours? How many? Do you know? So many hours, so many minutes, so many seconds. You have made choices. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of choices over the period of your life. You have smiled at people that you maybe done anything of. You could have been the only smile that person had today. You have loved people that you have made a difference in their world. You have been a friend to people who really value you. If you're a parent, you've brought a child into the world and you've loved them and you've cared for them. Most people, yes, there are exceptions to the rule, but most people are reaching to be the best that they can possibly. Most people desire to make a contribution in the world. Most people are showing up and they're being kind. They are being generous. They are assisting other people. They're contributing. They're doing what they can to assist their fellow man. But most of us don't acknowledge it. We don't acknowledge times that we cared for someone else. We don't acknowledge the breadth and the depth of our contributions in other people's worlds. When was the last time you looked at someone and you shared with them the contribution they have been in your life? Understand that when someone is saying thank you to you, they may not be able to tell you the entire amount of gratitude that they have for you, because vulnerability is difficult for most people. When you are willing to be vulnerable and receive that contribution from someone, when willing to actually allow someone to show you the amazingness you have been in their life, that's when you start to really see you, my friends. If you really are struggling to see the beauty, the magnificence, and the magic of who you be, not what you do, but who you be, ask a close friend, vulnerable, and ask them, how do you see me? What do you see in me? How have I contributed to your life? And I'm telling you, the first time I did this, it was challenging. It was very challenging because somewhere in my world, and I wonder about you, I bought that I didn't contribute, that there were not people out there that cared deeply about me and really saw what was in my heart. It's such a lie. Guys, it's such a lie. There are people that see you fully. You know, one of the great gifts of being here on the radio is that I have had people contact me and thank me and reach out and tell me the gift and the contribution I have in their life. And that humbles me to tears every time. Every time. But I no longer allow the lie that's not true to penetrate through the kindness that someone is being. I'm willing to see myself now. And I'm willing to see the contribution, the kindness, the space, the contribution that I am for other people. I'm willing to see my capacities. I'm willing to see my gifts. And guess what that does, my friends? When you are willing to see the generosity, the kindness, the brilliance, the joy that you are in the world, whatever it is, when you are really willing to see the totality of you, those judgments start to fall away. Completely start to fall away. And then you start to show up even greater with the truth of who you are, with the truth of who you came here to be. Everyone desires to be happy. Everyone desires to create greater. And this is your opportunity. This is your opportunity to have that in your world, okay? When you are willing to really show up and be who you are, you can have even greater. So tell me, my friends, what's holding you back from being the totality of you and seeing you fully and completely? What's holding you back? Some old judgment, some unkind words that someone told you, or maybe even a parent that was really unhappy with themselves, and then they passed that unkindness on to you. Why am I paying so much attention? Why am I talking so much about seeing you? Because it's incredibly difficult to truly create the desires, to create the relationships, even to create abundance of any kind in your life. You are not fully and completely aware of who you are. Here's a tool I'm going to give you, all right? I want you to grab a journal or some piece of paper. It could even be, something in your phone or even a document on your computer, and start listing out the things that you have created in your life. Start listing out the wonderful relationships that you have had. The times when people were so joyful to be with you. The times when people were grateful. Start looking at your entire life. Think about the teachers you had in school. Think about the friends you had growing up. Think about the lovers that you had and some of the beautiful things that they've said to you. Think about your children. Think about your parents. Think about all these people in your life and all of the occasions that you've had in your life where you created something wonderful. I was so blessed yesterday. I was at an event, and I was there with about 30 or 40 people, but the speaker, it just blew me away, actually, watching her as she spoke to each of us over like a 3-hour period, and she was being extremely vulnerable. And her name is Alyssa Twist Light. And during her talk, and when she was asking for feedback, and as each person spoke, she was so present. She really listened. She thanked them each time for their contribution. It really spoke to me, and I'm so grateful that she showed me that even more than I'm willing to see. And when I told her, that contributed to her. And what that did for me is it contributed to me as well. So one of the things that I will acknowledge about myself is that I acknowledge other people. I see other people, and I let them know that I see them totally and completely. And in that time, I'm seeing myself, and then I'm grateful for myself as well. Because when you're willing to be present with someone else and you're willing to see them and see you, oh my gosh, the energy that expands is absolutely magnificent. So how many of you are seriously willing to take the next week I want you to take an entire week to really live out, keep adding to the list the amazing creations that you have had, the amazing conversations, the absolutely beautiful times where you were so joyful, and that joy radiated out to other people. When you start to really see you and how you have been showing up each and every day of life, you will continue to create the things that you desire. But when you're coming from that heavy space, that judgment space, you are going to hold the brilliance of you down. Please step up. Please shine with your brilliance. Allow yourself to see you, not from an arrogant space, but from the space of kindness. See you, friends. When we get back from this next commercial, we are going to talk about showing up and how you can be showing up even greater in your world, whether it's for a personal or for its business. If it's your career, if it's for being a parent, being a lover, whatever the case may be. Let's go to the commercial break, and when we get back, we'll jump right into showing up. You're listening to Christine McIver on the Inspired Choices radio show here on the Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning in to Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you ready to have pleasure with your business? Yes, I said pleasure with your business. The Pleasure of Business a la carte will surprise you with topics like meet yourself in the boardroom, money, services, and you. Expand your visibility. The pleasure of communication. The pleasure of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Christine McIver has so much pleasure with business and loves teaching all things business. Beginning a new business? Desiring to expand a current business? Or looking to resurrect a business that has been dormant? This program will get you fired up and bring more pleasure than you have ever imagined. Exhausted with your excuses for not creating a phenomenal business? Join now for all the pleasure with business. Pleasure of Business a la carte gives you total choice for what you desire and what your business requires. That's 24 weeks of different topics to choose from with weekly calls, audio and video recordings, and PDFs. This class will have you dive right in and use tools to create the business that has been speaking to you. Go to inspiredchoices.ca for full details or join the Facebook page, Pleasure of Business a la carte. Now is the time for you and your business.
This is Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736 or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining tonight. We are talking about seeing you and showing up. So why is it so important to see you truthfully? Because if you're not actually seeing you, your choices every day are going to impact how you show up in the world and how other people choose to be with you. All right? This is one of those places, and I'll give you an example, but this is one of those places where people will be showing up to please someone, and then, especially in intimate relationships, and then, 6 months, a year, 10 years down, and they're like, I don't really love you because you're not the person that I thought you were. Or we'll look at somebody and go, this doesn't really work for me because that's not truly who I am. When you're willing to be vulnerable with yourself and really show up and really choose for yourself what is true for you, you can create dynamic relationships with every person around you. When you drop all of the judgments of you and you start to be you in reality, other people get to see you and you actually vibrate and you draw in the people that resonate with the energy that you are. So that's why it's critical for you to see you completely. What do you actually gain by avoiding the truth of you? What do you gain except a hell of a lot of headaches? So let's talk about showing up. Most people are afraid to fully show up, be who they are, because they're looking outside of themselves and they're worried about what everybody else thinks, right? This is not news. I'm not telling you anything you likely don't know. But what I absolutely know is we are putting showing up to please others ahead of our own desires. We're showing up to get someone to, choose us, get someone to connect with us, get someone to be a friend, get someone to be our client, get someone to actually work with us. We're constantly running everything through these filters, and we're not fully showing up. I know so many people in business that what my mom used to say is putting on the dog. Right? They're pretending to be something that they are not. And then wonder why people have a very big challenge connecting with them, choosing them. If you're not being who you are, the energy is going to be wonky. Whether people acknowledge it or not, we're all reading energy all of the time. We not know that we're doing that, and people that we meet may not realize that but we are. We all pick up on the energy of someone first. And have you ever looked at someone and you thought something about them you made a judgment based on their appearance, based on the clothes they wore, the car that they drove or whatever. You made a judgment about them. But yet there was something, all of that looked great. And then you were like, something's, it's a no. And you figure out why it's a no. Because that person was not being true to themselves, and you're getting a major mixed message. So what actually ends up happening is you lose the possibility of connecting with someone, truly connecting with people that would like to choose you, people that would like to work with you, people that are looking for you. If someone is actually looking for what you have to bring to the world, but you're showing up differently than who you truly are, they cannot find you. They can't find you. This is one of the gifts of this radio show. It has challenged me again and again to show up as me, to go into some pretty vulnerable places and spaces and to talk about what is really true and what's in the world and what I desire to create. And so I challenge myself all the time to truly show up in totality of myself. Now, here's the really cool thing, you guys. When you get super clear and you really start to acknowledge the brilliance, the kindness, the generosity of spirit, the capacities you really have, and you stop saying the bullshit like, oh, I don't know what I'm good at. Oh, I don't know. And you stop that insanity, all right? Guess what happens? People start to see you. You start to see you. And your world starts to expand exponentially. You have clients that are looking for what you have to offer. They may not know what they're looking for, but there's an energetic match. You have lovers start to show up. You actually start to connect more and more with people that you've desired to connect with, because there is a match, there's an energetic match. And then, oh my gosh, the most incredible thing starts to occur. Are you ready? You actually start to get so amazingly happy. And you start to look at things like, oh my God, it's magic. This is all happening. It's magic. It's not magic. Your magic. The choices that you've made are magic. And in that choice, you start to create with other people that are choosing to completely show up as them. You are creating the changes in the world that we all desire. What is it that you desire? Is it that you would like to have in your world, in your life, in your business, in your relationships? What is it that you desire to have? Now start looking for whatever that is. Start seeing that in you. Start seeing that in you. What do you desire? Do you want to have more clients that show up? Do you want more clients that desire change? Do you want to have more clients that are grateful? What? Find that in you. Find those places where you're showing up more. Find those places in you where you are grateful. Start to find that already in you. I'm not telling you to be it. I'm telling you to find it within you. Because if there is something that you desire, you already have it with you. Okay? You may need to dig a little bit, but it's there. Where you've put your focus, it expands. And there is something so cool that Melissa reminded me of. You know, so many of us are waiting for someone to give us permission. So many of us are waiting for someone to give us permission to really be ourselves and to choose something that we would love to have. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Give yourself a permission slip. Give yourself a permission slip to totally choose what you desire. You don't have to make sure it's okay with the family. You don't have to make sure that, people aren't going to run out of your lives. Because you know what? That's just a house of cards waiting to fall. If there are people that are going to run away because you choose something that makes you happy, then open the door and let them run. Seriously, my friends. The people that really will be there for you, the amazing relationships that are waiting to be created in your future, are going to still be in your future until you completely show up as who you are. Your businesses, your career, your relationships will not expand to the degree that your heart desires them to expand if you don't show up as you. And you've got to get clear about your capacities and your kindness and all of the things that you've ever created. You've got to see you. You've got to be your best friend. You've got to have your back. Oh my gosh. Have you just think of that one person that you've met that they walk with confidence and self-love, that they show up with just as much kindness for everyone else as they have for themselves, and just as much kindness for themselves as they have for everyone else. Think of that person. Tap into the energy of that person. And add that in your life. And be willing to get vulnerable with yourself where you're not doing this. You've got to get real. Each and every one of us has got to get real. I work a lot. I love what I do, and I work and I work and I work. But the greatest thing that I put my attention on is my own self-development. I look at where I'm, where I really hold back and where I don't acknowledge myself. I hold back on so many areas in my life that it tripped me up for years and years and years. I've had some of the most kind people in the world see me and acknowledge me, and I am determined to see me totally. Because I desire so much in the world, and I know when I see me and I show up as that in the world, without apology, I can have and be and create more than I've ever even imagined more than I've ever even dreamed. So my friends, what is it that you desire that's not showing up? Are you stopping yourself from completely showing up because you don't know who you are? You don't see who you are? Are you willing now to start to show up? Are you willing to be your own pink elephant in the room? Are you willing to get that connected with that you create beyond anything you've ever imagined? All right, when we come back from this last break, I'm going to tell you about some specials I've got going on with my 10-year anniversary. And, we'll answer any questions you might have about seeing you and showing up. Stay tuned, my friends. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning in to Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736 or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining tonight. You know, it's such a pleasure to connect in with each and every one of you and to hear from you and receive the messages. And I'm incredibly grateful for what the opportunity to do this. And this being my 200th show, I want to give you something special. So for the 10-year anniversary, I have a special on right now. My sessions are normally $250 each. For the 10-year session, the 10-year anniversary, you're going to be able to choose 7 one-hour sessions for only $750. That is a blowout sale like I've never had before. We can talk about personal, we can talk about relationships, we can talk about money, we can talk about joy, we can self-confidence, we can talk about business, social media, whatever it is they talk about and change in your world, we can do that. So that's the first special. The second special is I am doing one-on-one coaching for the month of December. I am offering, and you've got to mention that you heard this on the radio, I am offering a session for only $75. One session for $75. All right? You can get that again at a massive reduction price. And all you need to do is email me, Christine, at inspiredchoices.ca, and we can get you right on the books. We'll set this up. It'll be fully recorded, and you'll be ready to go. So that $75 is a one per person. And you definitely can purchase some for family members for Christmas, business owners, whoever's out there that you know could use somebody that is very brilliant in what they do, because I know I am. I'm a great coach. I've worked hard at it, and I've had many clients in my life that have been so grateful for what we created together. So this is definitely something you could gift forward to someone in your world. So those are the specials right now. You can always connect with me at Christine@inspiredchoices.ca or my website, inspiredchoices.ca. So finally, please, my friends, we're talking about seeing you showing up. If you desire this world to be greater, if you desire for there to be more kindness in the world, if you desire to have more joy and to see more joy with other people around you, you need to start showing up fully and completely as you and to see the brilliance of you. You know, you wouldn't hire someone that wasn't confident with what they could do. So why do you think someone wants to be in relationship with you, to choose you to work for them, or to have them, you know, hire you if you're not confident with what you do? Think about that. We have a quick question in the chat. Judgment and dreaming. What you know is true for you and having others say to you, but I don't understand what it is you are trying to say or do. That's a really cool question. I don't think I could answer it in this short period of time, but there's probably in your world somewhere that you're not clear about you as well. There's somewhere that I would suggest that there's some block around seeing you totally and completely. And when you are not seeing totally and completely, we do have a difficult time communicating that with others. And as Melissa said, maybe having a radio show would have people show up more. I wonder if anyone out there would like to be a host. You know what? There are a lot of people that desire to show up, but they pull back because they're afraid of what other people think. Well, what if you actually showing up and having a radio show with us could have other people see you and you begin to see you even greater as you step your brilliance? You can connect with me, Christine at Inspired Choices Radio, if that's something you'd like to explore. Okay, my friends, thank you so much for being with me today. I can't wait to connect with you again next week. Remember, you can always make another choice. Bye for now, friends.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by making the choices that bring you all that you desire.